The Oklahoma Sooners appear to be getting more good news on the recruiting trail, potentially bolstering up this 2025 recruiting class. Come on, guys. If you can't laugh with me, then why are you here? But the Oklahoma Sooners got a Fong bomb yesterday. They've received a couple other predictions, and they were included in the top schools list for a 5-star prospect that might be one of the best 5 stars in this entire class. Today, we're going to recap it. We're going to talk about it. But before we do that, guys, I need you guys to do one thing. You know the drill. Hop down in the comments below, join the discussion, and let me know what y'all think. Hey, you know what? And yesterday you might have said, hey, Preston wasn't wearing glasses. He said they broke. Hey, Gorilla Glue, if y'all ever have that same problem, Gorilla Glue is what you want to get. All right. Yeah, and that's not a paid sponsor, by the way. I just happened to go to Home Depot and get some Gorilla Glue. But so we got to talk about it, guys. Let's talk about Courtland Guillory, and then we'll move on to the 5-star afterwards. So make sure you guys stay tuned. But Courtland Guillory here has received several predictions over the past week to potentially land at Oklahoma after his recent visit to Oklahoma during the spring game, which was his second straight visit. He got one from Josh McCuistion the other day, which you kind of know it, right? You see the Josh McCuistion or the Colin Kennedy predictions. Those actually kind of really hold a lot of weight because they really don't submit a lot of predictions. And so you kind of feel like when they do it, it's kind of that closing touch on the player. It's kind of like that kill shot. Steve Wilfong, he submitted his Fong bomb is what they call it now that he's over at On3. And then you had Marshall Levinson, who is a national recruiting analyst with Rivals, also put one in the database. So Courtland Guillory receiving some pretty hefty predictions here. And Oklahoma would be getting their second cornerback commit in this class. And one that, if you're an OU fan, you weren't really looking at it and saying this was going to be a recruitment that Oklahoma won at the beginning of the recruiting cycle. In fact, we kind of just looked at Malik Hawkins, Tristan Haynes, and Kobe Sellers as probably the 3 cornerbacks that OU would pursue. The interesting thing here is Oklahoma has a good problem when it comes to recruiting cornerbacks in this cycle. One, Jay Valai is just a damn good recruiter, and I think it's pretty much going under the radar at what Jay Valai and Brenton Venables have done with specifically the corners since they have got to Oklahoma. Because I remember the days when you would be putting out 5'10", 5'9" corners, and Oklahoma was just getting torched every single time. Now you potentially have a first-round corner in Gentry Williams on your team, a potential top 3 to 4 round corner in Des Malone. You got Woody Washington, who's going to go to the draft, and he's going to get drafted probably in the first 3 to 4 rounds. Oklahoma, their talent is there, and they've been recruiting really well. You got Jeremiah Newcomb, Eli Bowen, and this class, it's looking really good. You're hearing really good things. But you also got Devin Jordan, right? Devin Jordan out of Union High School. Union, they produce good corners. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, you really like where this room is going. And the news that Courtland Guillory could be potentially joining it, that's even better. But I still really like Kobe Sellers because I think that's kind of going to be a question now when and if Oklahoma lands Courtland Guillory on April 28th is Kobe Sellers still a take? And I still think he is, because I think Kobe Sellers is one of the best corners in this class. And if Tristan Haynes wants to follow up and come to Oklahoma as well, then you just take both. It's kind of that simple. And you know what? You're going to have more depth in that room. And you know what? You might see attrition just like you did with Josiah Wagner. So, but that's okay. But Oklahoma was included in the top 7. I almost said top 5. Top 7 for a 5-star recruit, and that is Jonah Williams. And this is one I've seen you guys in the comments, and I've been holding off for a little bit because I didn't really know exactly how to have this conversation around this 5-star. But this is one, if you all remember in the spring, it really looked like Oklahoma was in a good spot for Jonah Williams. Come to find out, the Inside Texas people over at On3, they submit their predictions, and Jonah Williams wants to drag this sucker out. And he has the top 7 of Oklahoma, LSU, A&M, Texas, Oregon, USC, and Ohio State. And you would imagine with him and baseball being a huge factor, you look at the schools like LSU, Texas A&M, and Texas being probably your three biggest threats in your region. Oregon and USC, I kind of want to see what they do on the baseball field. USC got Deuce Robinson, the 5-star tight end in the 2023 class. He went to play baseball, but I don't think that's going to go really well for USC. Ohio State, obviously, they've got the DBU behind them, and they've been really stacking the talent in the secondary in this class. But if you're Oklahoma, Jonah Williams has not been on campus in a while. So you kind of have to look at that and wonder, is Jonah Williams still looking at Oklahoma? Is he like dodging the visits to Oklahoma to kind of keep that suspense in his recruitment and kind of keep the insiders off the track? I don't know what's going on. But if you're an Oklahoma fan, I'm just going to give you this advice, and this is kind of how I'm approaching the recruitment. If he ends up in this class, it's all upside. Don't set your expectations too high, because a guy of this caliber, listen, he might have the chance at the MLB. If he goes to A&M, we all know A&M is, I think, the number one team in the country in baseball. Texas is going to have a good baseball team. LSU has a good baseball team. And then not to mention, those are all really good football programs. So Jonah Williams, 5-star safety. It would be nice to add him into a safety room where you already have Marcus Wimberly. A lot of Oklahoma fans feel like you're in a good position for Amarian Robinson, but just keep it as upside. Now, another 5-star that we can talk about is, of course, the 5-star that we've had here on the podcast a couple times now, one we talk to quite frequently, and that's going to be Michael Fasusi. He canceled his visit, and a lot of people were kind of worried about, hey, like, should we worry? I actually got a couple DMs about it, and I was like, I don't think you really need to worry about it. The schedule just doesn't work, and, the staff's kind of traveling right now, and there's been plenty of times where Fasusi wanted to get up to campus, and it was just kind of making the timing work just wasn't there. So Tyler Guyton just got drafted in the first round. And I know Michael Fasusi watched that draft. And if you guys remember, in that interview that we did recently with Michael Fasusi, he talked about the development that Bill Bedenbaugh has done with these offensive linemen. And he's talked about how the end goal is to get to the NFL, right? That's what he wants to do. And he knows that wherever he goes, he's going to get taken care of with NIL money. So it's not going to be as big of a priority for him like it is some other people. He really wants to get developed. He wants to get to the NFL. And I think that's going to bode well for Oklahoma in the long run. Oklahoma gets to have him on campus before Texas. So you might really just get to make that pitch and get that potentially locked in before then. So if you're an Oklahoma fan, you got a lot of good news here, a lot of exciting news, but I want to hear from y'all. So make sure you're jumping down in the comments below, giving me your thoughts. And if you have not already, make sure you just hit that like and subscribe button, guys. I want you to be a part of the community here. We're going to fall short of the 8,000 subscriber goal by the month of May, but I feel like we can get there by the month of June. So I want you guys to come be a part of it.